welcome back to the Creatia Conversation, your number one news source for all that nerd-ish on the hub. I am your host, Lord Cussalot Travis Pointer, aka the Dragon King, aka Big T, aka T Money, aka Sweet T, aka Black Merlin, aka the HNIC. And I'm joined today by a very special guest once again, the honorary Oos of Creation World at the Will Gray. How you doing, Will?
Travis, once again, it's always a pleasure when our paths cross, and I'm glad to be here on a Wednesday morning with you. Got some cool stuff to talk about.
Indeed. Speaking of some cool stuff, let's get into some, just the basics, what we always talk about. So, what you been watching? What you been playing?
So, I started Suits. It's about a super smart kid who didn't go to law school but still passed the bar exam, and he kind of lied, cheats, and steals his way into this Harvard credited law firm. Binge watched the first season of that. Super fun. I also started Mythic Quest, which is on Apple TV. If you're one of those type people, it's basically like if you took Fortnite and Dungeons and Dragons and Diablo and like your basic dungeon crawlers and combined them into a game called Mythic Quest. Mm-hmm. Like it's this open world MMO RPG. It's a completely fictional game, but it's about the company that runs that game. Like the people who create it, the coders, like the person Ian, who's like the creator of the game and the whole world. Like it's everything. It's like The Office for really nerdy people, and it is fucking hilarious. Every episode
sounds fantastic.
And they're short, sweet, 22, 23-minute episodes. It's made perfect for binge watching, where if you've only got an hour, you can sit down and pound out 2 or 3 episodes in an hour. It's primo. Definitely worth a watch.
Okay. That does sound interesting to me. I may give that a look if I ever get Apple TV, because that's like I've talked about this before. It's the one streaming service I don't have.
It's worth it. There's a couple shows on Apple TV that are like specific to Apple TV that are worth it. Mythic Quest by itself, if you get the bare bones, I know you're a pay so I don't have to get ads, but they kind of have the Peacock and then the Peacock Premium or whatever it is, where you can get the cheap version with ads or the premium version without. Apple TV has a version like that. Mythic Quest by itself is almost worth just the version with ads.
Okay. Yeah, and I've seen trailers for other shows and movies and stuff on Apple TV that looked interesting to me, but I just never got the streaming service. I usually see I'm like, oh, that sucks. It's on Apple TV, and I move on. But I might there's not a chance. There's an almost certainty at some point I'll have Apple TV because I enjoy TV. And
get the free like 7-day, 14-day trial. Do nothing but binge Mythic Quest, and it'll convince you, because you won't have enough time to watch all of it. Mm-hmm. So in that time of the free trial, it'll convince you it's worth the money so you can finish the show.
Okay. I will keep that in mind. But you said this show Vision Quest is about a game. I haven't really been watching or playing anything new, by the way. It's just I've been way too busy for that recently. But you mentioned that it's about a game they create, and with that, let's get into some newsy time. And speaking of games, Netflix. Actually, no. Let's not talk about that. Let's talk about what we were here to talk about in the first place, which is the Nintendo Indie World Showcase. I almost forgot that we were talking about that for a second. I need more sleep. But the Nintendo Indie World Showcase happened today, about an hour ago. It dropped. We took a look at that, made sure we, knew what they talked about, saw if there was anything that really caught our eyes, because for me, at least, I enjoy watching and seeing what the indie side of games is doing, because oftentimes you see those things and the interesting concepts and ideas that they have in indie stuff shows up in the big AAA stuff a couple years from now, you know? And it's always fun to see where that began. So with that in mind, was there anything in the Nintendo Indie World Showcase that really stood out to you, Will?
The first thing in my notes says it sounds like an AI wrote the commentators, Andrew and Amber. They sounded like they were built, but I think it was almost built to sound that way.
Yeah.
Because when you listen to it, it sounds like ChatGPT wrote it. Some of the games that stood out to me was the Plate Up, the restaurant game.
I saw that. Yeah. That was
Sometimes
cool.
restaurant games are kind of hit or miss for me because, having been in the trenches for so long, it's like I have trouble watching, movies about chefs and stuff like that because it seems completely unrealistic. The same reason doctors don't watch Grey's Anatomy because they know it's bullshit.
Did we ever talk about The Bear?
We have not. The Bear is, I would say The Bear and the movie Burnt are maybe the two closest realistic look into what running in a kitchen looks like. The Bear is that diner style, dive bar almost style real world kitchen, and then the way they did Burnt was very much how like a Michelin starred brigade runs. So those two are my suggestions when people are like a good food movie or TV show.
I never saw Burnt, but I definitely watched The Bear, and I remember watching them. It was like this, even like with me, only restaurant experience I had was working at Pizza Hut, and
me too. I loved working at Pizza Hut, man.
I did it first, and then I was just like, I need to get the fuck out of here. But the things that were happening in that kitchen, because I started as a cook at Pizza Hut, and then I became a delivery driver later. I applied as a delivery driver first. They didn't have any driver positions. They only had cook positions, strangely enough. But the things that happen in the kitchen when something just goes horribly wrong, and it's just like this was nobody's fault, but we're all fucked.
This is just the way it is now. This is our life.
Yeah. All those things that happen in the anger and the yelling at each other and all that kind of shit that ends up happening sometimes in the kitchen. It's just like, oh my God. And the whole time I'm on edge because it's just like, ugh! But yeah.
That anxious feeling.
Anyway, Plate Up. I'm sorry.
No. You're perfect. The scene in The Bear, I think it's the first or second episode, where he has to get the bone-in short ribs instead of the boneless short ribs, and they're worried because their meat's not going to come out for service until like 30 minutes before the doors open. Yeah. Like, I've been there. Like, my heart's felt that kind of adrenaline rush because you're going to be this fucking close to pulling it off.
Well, like working at Pizza Hut, you just like, this dough is not going to be proofed until right when we open. And even then it's going to be a problem because you got to let that sit for a while after you prove it. And it's not going to,
that first hour is just going to be hell on wheels no matter
what.
Hope
that nobody orders a pan pizza.
The Rift to Necrodancer, the Guitar Hero style, they called it lane-based combat, which was something that I've never heard that term before.
Yeah, me neither. But
it's never been used. But for them to take a Guitar Hero style game and label it as lane-based combat, and I was like, this screams like mobile ripoff written all over it. Is how it looked to me.
There's going to be a bunch of mobile ripoffs with this one. Yeah, and then you're going to see the ads on Instagram about how awesome this is. You do this. Yeah. I see it in my head already. As soon as you said, I'm like, yep, you're right.
Shadows over Loathing. Did you ever play Limbo?
I never played Limbo, but Shadows over Loathing is on my list as well. That one.
I thought it gave off super big Limbo vibes. I like that kind of cell shading comic book look that it had to it. Instead of dialogue coming up on the screen, it popped up like that was the one that popped up like the little comic book characters where when they were talking back together, it was the speech bubbles. Loved that.
I mean, who doesn't want to play an RPG with stick figures,
Agreed. Oxenfree 2. This one I wrote more notes down than anything. This one came from the Netflix Game Studios. And I think we're talking about some Netflix stuff later. So we'll touch on this. I loved the cool physics. It kind of reminded me of like the Telltale games, like the Walking Dead style game.
Yeah, Walking Dead, Game of Thrones games,
non-linear
stories
based.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
Tales from Borderlands is what it was called. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The non-linear based, but open world style, like storybook modes. I like that style of RPG. Then there was one that was called Brotato, which was a fun little shooter where you could upgrade your gear and run around the world. And I was like, okay. And then there were a couple big names like Five Nights at Freddy's. They're releasing a new one. And a couple other games like that. They kind of sped run through the end. But that was kind of like my short and sweet notes of the one. Shovel Knight also looked a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It was lots of customization to your gear and stuff. So that was my too long didn't read version of what I watched with the Nintendo stuff.
Yeah, for me, the Shadows Overloaded was definitely on my list as well. Tesla Grad 2. There's a Tesla Grad 1 that came out before. But looking at it, just like, okay, so physics-based story, electromagnetic powers, looks like a lot of real platforming too. I'm like, okay, I could definitely get into that. I can see how this can be really interesting. But the one that got my attention first watching this whole thing was this game called Crime O'Clock. And it was the whole, the time travel based murder mystery kind of stuff and all that, and solving the puzzle, solving these crimes and all that kind of stuff. I like that kind of figure it out puzzle telling, like put this together, what actually happened kind of thing. That's fun to play, and combining that with time travel seems really fun to me and something that I'd like to see implemented more of.
Did you ever play this is a B-list game, and this is going to be a callback for the big nerds. It came out on the Sega Saturn, but also came out on the original PlayStation. It was simply called D. And it was a Dracula-based game where you were going through the mansion, and it was a lot of puzzle-based. It was very like Rift, sort of like first-person puzzle-based like platformer where you've got to solve puzzles to get out of rooms to get through the mansion. And then the end of it, you find out this whole time you've been trying to get out of Dracula's mansion. That one gave me that one reminded me of that game.
Yeah, I never played that, but I feel like I remember seeing that like on the shelf at the video store. Never rented it, but I remember seeing it there. It sounds kind of that the actual
that mystery dinner, like figure it out as you go kind of thing. Lots of fun.
Yeah. Okay. There's a whole lot of indie games on that list, and if you were going to sit and play through, I also like too with a lot of these, are like, this is out today. We're dropping this later today.
There were
most of them are coming out this year, but there's some like, it's out today. So it's just like, if you want to check this out, do it now. So if you're going to be doing that and playing all the ones that came out today, you're going to need some energy, Will. And a good way to keep that energy going is with Dubby. Because Dubby is a clean energy drink that is made to give you focus with no crash, jitters, or angst like other energy drinks. They also have no maltodextrin fillers and don't use artificial dyes. Dubby contains vitamins, amino acids, nootropic, and 150 milligrams of caffeine. The product is made in the USA in an FDA-inspected facility that strictly adheres to GMP manufacturing guidelines. Dubby has handpicked what they believe to be the 10 most critical ingredients for focus and concentration. Dubby contains important aminos and vitamins that canned energy drinks simply don't have. Dubby uses Neurofactor, a patented all-natural coffee cherry extract to help fuel you. This ingredient is what gives Dubby its laser focus and fast reflex effects, making it especially perfect for gamers. They disclose full ingredient amounts, and the products will never contain fillers or artificial colors or dyes. Dubby is also sugar-free, and like I mentioned, maltodextrin-free, and it's keto-friendly. So go to dubby.creatiaworld.com and use the code Creatia to receive 10% off your order today. That is dubby.creatiaworld.com. Use the code Creatia. The link is in the description. Dubby. More game stuff, Will.
Game stuff.
Like you mentioned, there's some Netflix game stuff happening. So, this story comes from comicbook.com, article by Mark Deschamps.
Mark Deschamps. That's not how you actually say it. I'm sorry.
It's Mark something. Doesn't matter. But yeah, Netflix confirms plans for 40 new games this year. Go to comicbook.com, read this article all the way through. I'm going to hit the highlights for you here. Netflix has big plans to continue to expand its gaming options with the stunning 40 new games set to release throughout the rest of 2023. I imagine at least 39 of them are mobile games. It's what they do. The information comes from a Netflix first quarter earnings interview posted today, which was yesterday. Netflix co-CEO Greg Peters declined to offer any special information about user engagement and retention, but did use the opportunity to talk up the company's plans for the future. The company currently has 55 games available to users, and that number will expand both through games made by internal studios as well as games released through licensed partners. So I knew that Netflix had a lot of mobile games for a while. Never actually downloaded one or played one until recently, a few months ago. When I first downloaded the Ninja Turtles game off of there, I'm like, oh, this is here. Okay. So if it's here, which means you got to pay to be able to get access to this game, that means they're not going to overload me with microtransactions. So I'll go ahead and check this out. And I'm like, okay, it was very well made. It's not a Netflix original or anything like that, but you can get it through having Netflix. So that was a lot of fun. But yeah, they said, what was I going to say here? Okay, so yeah, while Peters avoided answering those questions about the engagement and retention of Netflix's video game offerings, a report last year painted a grim picture. As of last August, less than 1% of subscribers are using the games on a daily basis. It makes sense because as of last August, I had never downloaded one of them. So that's what I was saying. We don't know if anything has changed since then. Well, it has for me, because like I said, I've played one and enjoyed it since then. But Netflix seems undeterred. Either way, the company has certainly shown no signs that it might be rethinking its investment in gaming. So yeah, there was also talk about there's a new feature that's being developed right now where you can play these games on your TV or on your PC and all that kind of stuff, which would be fun if I could have a controller in my hand and play, some games from Netflix, which kind of makes sense because they brought over the Xbox dude over to Netflix to develop games. I don't know if we talked about that on here or not, but that was news that dropped, I believe, last week. So yeah, 40 new games from Netflix this year. Will, how you feeling about that?
I have to just agree with everything you said. 40 games, 39 and a half of them are going to be on your one phone. They're going to be mobile. The one thing that my biggest takeaway is in the article, it does say it's completely rumored, but a recent rumor suggested that Netflix games will soon be playable on PC and TVs by using the Netflix mobile app as a controller. Mm-hmm. I think that for Netflix, it might not seem like a big deal, but think about what that technology would do for, say, Roku or Amazon Fire to be able to turn this into a controller.
Yeah.
To where you're going on your smart TV, it's all synced through your Wi-Fi and your network anyways. And now those companies don't have to put out new systems.
Yeah,
they can do all this browser-based flash technology. So I think this right now for Netflix seems cool, but if that technology really exists, this could be way bigger than Netflix because this could open up a whole new level of gaming for these companies.
Yeah, and I didn't even think about that. Yeah, Roku, because Roku has their own remotes and everything already too. So if they can kind of integrate that, like the whole using a remote, like with just using your phone for that instead, which is kind of how Chromecast works anyway, which is cool. So imagine if Google had done that instead of Stadia,
Yeah.
Which I really feel like they should have done. Now that I think about that, I hadn't thought about that before, but now that you brought that to my attention, yeah. If Google had done that instead of making Google Stadia, that service would still be in existence today and everybody would be ripping it off.
The game that they debuted that I was hungry to was the one that we were talking about, like the Telltale style games, like the little comic book side scroller, real cool physics. That style of gameplay, you don't need anything more than an SNES controller. Mm-hmm. So all it is just forward-facing buttons. Like the bumpers are on the only two that might be an issue on a controller like your phone. But these style games are so easy to use with a simple based NES or SNES controller. So like
Yeah,
I'm excited to see what they decide to do with it.
yeah, it's like what I talked about before with the Ninja Turtles game. It's just like I didn't think they could make that work because the beat 'em up is not something you really think can translate well to the phone. Because you got to be quick thing, be able to move up and down, up left and right pretty quickly. It worked surprisingly well. Newer phones is able to do it in a way that other phones just couldn't. Like 5 years ago, no, you couldn't do that. But now, yeah, it's a thing, and they can do a lot with it. Like I said, using your phone as a controller is definitely plausible now after what I've experienced with Ninja Turtles on here. So, sticking with Netflix though, it's the end of an era, an era that I thought ended a long time ago. But apparently, as of now, Netflix is officially shuttering its DVD rental business. I didn't know they still did this, Will.
That blows my mind, man. This is old school. I mean, I'm talking like I'm gonna have to go back to like college Will days. We're talking like 05, 06. I remember how baller it felt to get that red envelope in the mail because I had the plan where you could get like 3 movies at once. So I constantly
big man plan. Okay.
You know what I mean? I lived in a frat house, man. There were like 7 of us living in the house. So we would split it 7 ways. Our bills were like 94 cents a month at that point.
Mm-hmm.
But we would keep DVDs flowing constantly, always watching new releases. It was so cool. And then like the moment the instant queue happened, I was like, this is over. There's no reason to get DVDs anymore. If I can just go online on a browser and click what movies to add to my Xbox and boom, there they are. I thought this ended long ago. It surprises me they still do DVDs at all.
Yeah, last time I remember using it, I want to say was 2011. And I had like the combo thing where I can get the DVDs and use the streaming of it also.
Oh, yeah.
And the last thing I remember getting delivered to me was fucking Yu Yu Hakusho on DVD. Because I had never finished the last season of it. And I'm like, oh, they have this. I can watch the last season of it. But I'm like, I got to watch all of it, though. So I got, the first season and second season. But I was only getting one DVD at a time. But I watched through all of Yu Yu Hakusho on DVD because of Netflix. And that's the last Netflix DVD I got because at that point, Redbox also existed. So I could just go to, the Walgreens down the street and get a DVD out of there instead of having to wait for the DVD from Netflix,
$1.25 a day or whatever it is. You keep it for more than 15 days, you got to buy it. They charge the $20 to your card or whatever it is for the DVD.
Right.
You had so many of those little red box, like clip and close DVD cases because nobody ever remembered to take them back. I had 2 or 3 of them laying around because I forgot to take the movies back.
There was once when I was living in Orlando, I rented a movie from the Redbox. It was supposed to be Madagascar 2. I got home, opened it up. It was not Madagascar 2. Somebody had put their mixtape in there. Like some rapper had taken a little sticker thing off of the Netflix movie itself and put it on his mixtape. Yeah, on the that goes on the DVD in the middle and put it on his mixtape CD and put ingenuity. That in the red box. And I'm just like, the fuck? I took a picture of it. It's actually on my Instagram. If you like scroll down on my IG, I took a picture of it because I couldn't fucking believe that shit.
But you can't even be mad at him for it. That's ingenuity. That's thinking.
Exactly. I wasn't mad. It was more just I can't believe this just happened.
Modern problems require modern solutions, Mr. Pointer. What's up, JJ?
Yes, to set up your queue. Yes, to know what's coming next and all that.
It always makes me think of the scene in The Office when Kelly's explaining to Ryan how Netflix works, and they're trying to do it to count how many likes she says and owns.
Right. They were doing those bets in the office. I remember. JJ's watching Cocaine Bear.
No spoilers, JJ. I still haven't seen it all.
Yeah, keep it to yourself. We haven't got all the way through it yet. But yeah, I mean, I can read a bit from this, even though we already had the discussion. But yeah, it's More than two decades after its DVD by mail rental program helped make Netflix a household name and killed Blockbuster, the company announced today that I added that in. It didn't say killed Blockbuster, but it did. The company announced today that it's finally winding down the service. Netflix said in a tweet that it will send out its last DVD on September 29th, 2023. On Netflix's DVD website, it said it was entering its final season of shipping out discs. Yeah, not much else to say or read about that one there, but I was more surprised that they were still doing it than I was that they were shutting it down.
They said they made the last year they made 2021, they made $100 million and it's dropped below 100 mil every year since. But to think that in 2020, during the pandemic, they had $200 million in revenue just 3 years ago on DVDs.
From the DVD rentals.
That's crazy to me.
How?
Damn near
How are that many people doing that?
$1 And if you think what $10 a month for the DVD rental, like that's a lot of people, Travis.
Yeah, that's $120 a year from per person. That added up to over 200 million. How?
That's crazy to me that many people. When you think about the numbers alone, you're like, why? How with this many streaming services, even in 2023 years ago, we still had Netflix, Amazon, Hulu, Peacock. Like all of those were still major streaming services just 3 years ago. And Netflix was able to pull over $200 million in revenue on DVD rentals. That's fucking crazy.
R.I.P. Blockbuster. I won. You'll never get the Ring VHS back. So the Ring was yours. Is there a VHS tape from Blockbuster that you just kept and never brought back?
I kept it for a long, long time, and I eventually sold it because of what it was. And I had a movie gallery, which is like the Southern version of Blockbuster, kind of. I had a movie gallery copy of Mike Tyson's Punch-Out for NES.
Oh, wow.
That was stamped with the movie store, and I sold it to a collector because it was a video game store copy.
Gotcha.
Like it made it specific. I was 18, 19 years old at the time, didn't realize what it was. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I thought that was one of the coolest things in my collection, and I sold it because he made me a good offer on it. But yeah, I had a movie gallery copy of Mike Tyson's Punch-Out.
See, for me, this one actually was Blockbuster, and Blockbuster wasn't even my main video store. There was a video store. I lived in this small town outside of Chicago called South Holland. There was another small town next to it called Thornton, and that was the video store I used to go to. I used to ride my bike up there all the time. But before that, I went to Blockbuster with my sister-in-law, my brother's wife, and we rented 2 movies from there. One was I Know What You Did Last Summer. The other one was Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Neither one of those ever got brought back. Yeah, I had that movie forever. And that's one of the reasons why, like, as bad as that movie is, I still have a soft spot for it because I remember watching it a lot. So, all right, what else we got here? Let's stay in video games. Well, not quite video games, but like video game adjacent. Sonic the Hedgehog's Knuckles spinoff show has cast Game of Thrones Rory McCann and others. The Echidna and the Hound, because why wouldn't you want to watch something that has the Hound in it? But anyway, Paramount hasn't. He is. Paramount has enlisted a star-studded cast to appear alongside Idris Elba's Echidna in the Sonic the Hedgehog spinoff series Knuckles. In addition to Elba reprising his role from Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Adam Pally will return to our screens as Wade Whipple alongside Tika Sumpter, who will continue her role as Maddie Wachowski from the Sonic movies. The Game of Thrones alum Rory McCann also guest starring. The show will also feature Eddie Patterson, Julianne Barrett, Scott Mescudi, and Ellie Taylor in recurring roles, though details of those roles are currently unknown. Additional cast members will also be announced in due course as production on the series kicked off earlier this month. So they've already started filming. Cool. The upcoming series takes place between the events of Sonic the Hedgehog 2 and Sonic the Hedgehog 3, which is due to hit theaters on December 20th of 2024. The show will set Knuckles on on an action-packed path of self-discovery as he agrees to train Wade as his protege. So yeah, how you feeling about the cast of Knuckles the Echidna?
Looks like a stacked cast. I had no idea, the depth of the Sonic the Hedgehog canon here. Like, reading through the article, looking at it, I'm like, there were events? And then I was like, okay, the movies haven't came out yet. But I was like, how much story was there on a 16-bit video game?
Oh, in the Sonic lore? Oh, there's so much, especially once you got to like the Dreamcast. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's when they really started fleshing out the lore of Sonic and Knuckles and all and what makes all these people special.
I was
Um
always a Nintendo kid. And that's weird to say because as my older adult life into the video game realm, I've never been with that tribalist mentality of PlayStation or Xbox or PC. Like we all know PlayStation's the best anyways. But, like we have an Xbox, we have a PlayStation, we have a gaming computer. Like we've got a Switch. Like we're nerds. But when I was a kid, I was highly Team Mario. I don't remember playing my first Sega game until the Dreamcast. Like I missed out on a lot of the old Sonic games. I didn't play them until later in life because I was the Mario guy. I liked
Right.
Mario, Luigi. I got a lot of heat for how I pronounced the brother's name, but Luigi. So I was never a big Sonic guy. I'm hyped for a cool series though. If they've got a story to back it, I'm here for it.
Yeah. The whole thing about Knuckles and the Master Emerald and all that kind of stuff is really cool. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that. I will say, of all the Sonic games that have ever come out, Sonic Adventure on the Dreamcast is my favorite one.
I like Sonic Pinball. That one was a lot of fun. That was a GameCube game, I think.
Well, it was on Sega also.
Was it?
Mm-hmm.
I remember playing it on GameCube because I was a big, once again, like Dr. Mario, Tetris, like those style of games. So for some reason, Sonic Pinball fit well with me. I like
Sonic Spinball.
Spinball. Okay, correct. I'm sorry. Once again, yeah.
I know you weren't a Sonic guy, so it was, I don't want the internet coming after you.
That was something that a lot of the people in the Nintendo think, just to derail your show. A lot of people in the comments on that live were pissed that with Sega acquiring Angry Birds or whatever, and then Nintendo and all them not releasing any Angry Birds content at all this year. I thought that was weird that people would genuinely be upset.
Yeah, why are you angry about this? What horse do you have in this race?
Where's my Angry Birds 6? God damn it. See, old school. Man. I've got my original Game Boy, my Game Boy Colors, my DSs. I'm a Nintendo guy. You know what I mean? Like that was my first big love for systems were Nintendo based stuff.
It was for me with Nintendo. My Nintendo world for me stopped after the N64 and picked back up with the Switch. So there was a lot of Mario in the middle of that I missed. A lot of evolution of Mario and all that I didn't see again until I picked up the Switch and played Mario Odyssey. I'm like, oh, this is what Mario is now. Okay, cool.
I went from the Wii to the Switch. I never had a Wii U.
I mean, a lot of people didn't have a Wii U. I feel like that was a thing that a lot of people skipped over.
That's what the Switch was. They wanted the Wii U to be the Switch and just pulled the trigger too early.
Yeah. I got a trailer here for you, Will.
I love trailers. That's my favorite part of the show. Trailers.
Yes. But before we get into that trailer, we were talking about Sonic and Knuckles and, these wonderful animals here. Another great animal is a dog, Will, and I love dogs.
His best friend.
Absolutely. And those of you who love dogs, you want to take good care of that dog. And a good way to take care of that dog is by going to dog.com, because dog.com is your online dog supplies, shopping, and information destination. Everything your dog needs, from toys to treats and food, is available, including collars and leashes. They even have outdoor gear and water safety gear for your furry friend. So go to dog.creatiaworld.com to receive up to 64% off your order today. That's dog.creationworld.com. Link is in the description. But I got a trailer here for you, Will. I know you love Minecraft.
Love me some Minecraft.
How you feel about Minecraft Legends?
It popped up on the Game Pass yesterday. It's actually on the queue on the Xbox downstairs.
Well, we got the launch trailer for it here. So let's take a look.
What's the difference between a story and a legend? Is it the cruelty of its villains or the bravery of its heroes?
You got sound?
I do.
Okay.
Is it companionship?
Okay. Okay.
Friendships
It's
forged
multiplayer.
against overwhelming odds? Or the story of a struggle that changes the flow of time?
Okay, that's cool.
After the details have faded into dreams, what will we remember? Ultimately, it's the tales that capture our hearts and give us reason to hope. When the bravery of the world is greater than the forces of evil combined, that is when legends are born.
Okay. And it's out now, people. So if you are into Minecraft and you find this interesting, check it out. What are you thinking, Will? How's that looking to you? You're the
One of my
Minecraft
favorite
guy here.
one of my favorite things about the Minecraft universe is that you can take away and add and build and subtract and do all the things people love about Minecraft in that world.
Mm-hmm.
The idea of being able to do that in a story-based game is awesome. This looks like it stays the truest to like the vanilla Minecraft without changing the functionality of the game. Some of the other Minecraft games don't give you the ability to build and mine and tear down. This one showed you doing the stuff that makes Minecraft while also playing the story mode of it all. So this might be the closest to the vanilla, go out there with your pickaxe, break your stone and your wood and build something Minecraft with the story-based stuff. So I'm here for it. Like I said, I put it in the queue last night. I'll probably start it in the next 24 to 36 hours, hopefully.
Okay. Okay. Well, I look forward to hearing what you have going on with that. Let's go to the future, Will.
I love the future.
I do too. You know I'm a Star Trek guy.
Yeah, nobody's perfect. I still love you, Travis.
Well, Star Trek has a new movie coming out. We briefly touched on it yesterday. There was some breaking news that Michelle Yeoh was getting her own Star Trek movie. It's coming out next year. But there's more news than that. So we'll start from there, though. Star Trek Section 31 original movie event starring Oscar winner Michelle Yeoh. Yes, she won an Oscar. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. Fantastic movie. People, check it out if you haven't seen it yet. She will reprise her fan favorite role as Emperor Philippa Georgiou, with production beginning later this year. Well, did you didn't watch Star Trek Discovery, did you?
I have not. No, I watched bits and pieces of the show, never from beginning to end on any of them. I've seen a handful of the movies, Wrath of Khan, and some of the older ones that came out, and then the new ones with, is it not James McAvoy? What's the other Charles Xavier? What was the other guy's name that played Captain Kirk in the new Star Trek movies?
Oh, in the new movies? I don't know. I don't fuck with those new movies.
Okay, that's the Star Trek, the newer Star Trek movies that I've seen were the last two that came out.
Okay, so those movies are a separate universe than the actual than the shows are.
No,
those are set in an alternate timeline, and and all that kind of stuff. This one is all show canon kind of stuff. But this the show Star Trek Discovery, great show. Michelle Yeoh's character Philippa Georgiou in that show, one of my favorites. Like she becomes something that's just like every now and then she'll say or do something like, yeah, I fucking get it.
yeah. I can relate to that.
Yeah. But anyway, Paramount Plus announced it has officially greenlit Star Trek Section 31, starring Academy Award winner Michelle Yeoh, in this special original movie event for the service. Yeoh returned to her role as Emperor Philippa Georgiou, a character she first played in Star Trek Discovery's first season. In Star Trek Section 31, Emperor Philippa Georgiou joins a secret division of Starfleet tasked with protecting the United Federation of Planets and faces the sins of her past. So basically, those of you who are not familiar with what Section 31 is in the Star Trek universe, it's basically, like Black Ops side of Starfleet. Like they do the fucked up stuff that nobody else can do. Like
Why does that intrigue me now? Why do I feel like I need to go learn about Section 31 just from that description alone?
Because it's really fucking cool. Because in this world that Star Trek creates for you, is that they essentially have painted it as we're all about exploration. We've ended hunger. Like we don't have all these petty problems. And the world is wonderful and beautiful. There's other conflicts, but they're outside conflicts. They're not our conflicts. We're a part in helping other people with their shit. Section 31 is like, oh, fuck no. This all works so perfectly because we do all that dirty shit that y'all don't want to talk about or look at or pretend even exists, So it's just, you first get introduced to Section 31, I believe, in Deep Space Nine, in the show Deep Space Nine. And there's a lot of that happening with them. And there's this one part in it where they're like, nobody has issued Section 31 an order in like 50 years, but they're still operating. And it's just like, there's nobody checking y'all right now. And you're just doing whatever you see fit and just assuming it's what's best for everybody. Or you're not. You could just be serving your own interests, but we don't fucking know. And it's great. And then Star Trek Discovery does this whole thing where they're way further in the future now with all it's all really cool. And just seeing what they're gonna do with her in that is really exciting. But yeah, there's quotes here and all that other kind of stuff. But yeah, I'm really excited for this movie.
I think it'll do well. Star Trek's one of those things. I've said this a lot about certain franchises, especially like on air here, and that's Star Trek and Star Wars and Mario and Zelda and Halo. You know what I mean? Like some of these games and franchises are so big that no matter what you do, you can just cash checks.
Yeah, they're staples. I mean? They're not going anywhere. Yeah.
And then you put aces in their places like Academy Award winning actresses, and you're like, how the fuck is this not a home run?
I'll tell you now, I'm Babe Ruth calling my shot. It's a home run. Like I'm going to watch this movie and I'm going to fucking love it. I know this already because you giving me more Philippa Georgiou? Yeah, do that. Because when she left the series, like she didn't die, but she left, I was like, oh, so we don't get her no more? Like, the fuck? Oh, man. But staying in Star Trek, I got another trailer here. Because that wasn't the only Star Trek news. Strange New Worlds, the series that's about Captain Christopher Pike. As you know, he was the captain of the Enterprise before Captain Kirk. The way this all works is the original pilot for the original Star Trek show was Christopher Pike instead of Captain Kirk. And then they reshot the pilot with Kirk and did the whole series with Kirk. This series is for the time that Pike was captain of the Enterprise. They made it so that Captain Pike being captain of the Enterprise is canon now. And that's cool. Like they acknowledge that this exists because so many people who are Star Trek fans know that that's what happened, So now it's like a whole series about Pike on the Enterprise and all that kind of stuff. And it's really cool. But season 2, the new trailer just came out and I want to check that out. I haven't seen this yet. So
I love trailers all the time.
Yeah.
Look at a young Spock.
In the mystery and vastness of space, we've come together. So many crew members from so many planets, everyone on their own journey.
Ready for some fancy flying, Erica?
Oh, you know I've got this.
I'm thinking it's a sign But the freckles in our eyes are mirror.
Meet James Kirk. You have an energy.
What?
It's making me sweat.
June 15th. Okay, good. Couple months away. I can survive that.
Nice summer release.
Did I just see Klingons?
Myself as
You did?
alone.
Yes.
Not on this ship.
Three great wonders and great danger. The next great age of exploration starts with us.
You gonna say your thing? Everyone in the chair has their thing.
I would like the ship to go.
I would like the ship to go.
Never seen a revolving door before.
I'm from space.
That's good. I enjoyed that
Space.
whole I would like the ship to go thing. That's one of those things is like what the captain says in the chair for them to like,
Yeah.
and the classic one is Captain Picard was like, engage, It's just like they're thinking like, what's their word? What's gonna be their thing? And he's
I would like the ship to go now.
and I want him to say that every time. Oh man, or like the simple thing of them, like of Kirk not knowing how revolving doors work. Like they never use a fucking revolving door. They beam into everything. Their doors just,
I'm from space.
So good. I fucking love it. I'm so excited because, like, thing is, Strange New Worlds was the one that kind of got back to what Star Trek shows were. Because Star Trek Discovery was cool, but it wasn't like really that traditional Star Trek show of them going somewhere new and meeting a new species and learning about them and solving some other kind of conflict that happened there. It's kind of, didn't really matter what order you watched it in. It kind of helped to watch it in order, but it was kind of still everything was like its own thing. And that's what Strange New Worlds was. There's an overarching story throughout it all, but you could watch any of those episodes by themselves and it would still be good because it's just about they encounter another species of alien, usually. And there's some kind of conflict that arises with them not, understanding their customs or getting to know what their customs are. And I've said this about Star Trek before. It's what I do, like when I'm having trouble with writing or something like that. I need something to get me going. I watch Star Trek because Star Trek makes me think. And that's what Strange New Worlds is. And I'm so happy we're getting another season of it.
I like the premise behind all things Star Trek. It's just one of those rabbit holes I've never dove down.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing that makes me go, okay, maybe learning, like, just kind of diving into it now that there's such a wealth of just content for me to.
Yeah, there's so much.
But also that feels like the kind of thing where it could become my only, personality trait moving forward. If
it could take your life over for a while. Like there's one, but speaking of the whole make you think and these conflicts and everything, there's one episode of The Next Generation where they went to this planet. It's all paradise. Everything's perfect. They have, they have their set of rules and their set of laws though. And if you break one of those rules or laws, you're just executed. They're not unreasonable laws. That's the thing. Most of them are not unreasonable. And basically, they don't have any police force or anything like that, but they have certain people who are like assigned to watch everything. And if they're in your area and they see you commit a crime, you're executed. It's just that simple. But everybody there's pretty happy. There's no issues or anything. Well, they're visiting. And one of the rules was not to walk on the grass here. And one of the kids that's, whose mother is on the crew, they're playing ball with some other people and a ball goes onto the grass. And they just all stop, like, we can't go on the grass. He's like, what's the problem? And he just goes and picks up the ball on the grass. Well, they see him and they're going to execute him. Well, he's not from there. He doesn't know how all this stuff works, but it doesn't matter. Like, that's their law. You step on the grass here, you die. Like, it's just that simple. And so they had to figure out how to work all that out and make it work without, like, going against their traditions and all that kind of stuff, because they still want to have diplomatic ties to them and all that kind of stuff. And it's just, because in the end, they have the technology. They could just blow these people away and leave, but they don't want to do that. So it's just, I love that show.
Sounds like it's worth a watch. It's
Mhm.
one of those like I think I could get into it things. I like rich, deep history, even if it's fucking fictional and made up. Like if there's something where I can go, okay, why did this happen? And there's already a list of stuff where I can go, okay,
Oh,
A,
yeah.
B, and C are why we in season 1 we had D, E, and F. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
That's why I like Tolkien, because he spent so much time writing the history of Middle Earth.
Yeah, the thing about you got, and then there's so much. If you want to dive into lore, Star Trek's got it for you. Like there's the history of like who the Borg are, or like the Q Continuum and the Dominion, and all these other enemies, are like Q and all them aren't necessarily enemies, but they're a problem. It's just like this. It's crazy. I
You
love
can
it.
study Klingon now as a foreign language. That's
Oh yeah,
how
it's on
important is Star
Duolingo.
Trek.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah. I have it on Duolingo.
that's amazing.
Yeah, yeah. I got one more trailer here for you, Will. It's a game trailer, and then we'll end that here. You like how much of a Disney guy are you, Will?
I'm a medium Disney guy. I liked some of the earlier stuff, Aladdin's and your Lion Kings and stuff like that. And then when I started having kids, I picked up at, your Monsters Inc. and your Toy Stories.
Okay. And how you feel about Mario Kart?
Love Mario Kart, one of my favorite franchises. Once again, Nintendo guy.
So, what do you think of a Disney Mario Kart?
I think by the premise, it should be fun.
Let's check out the launch trailer for it.
Let's go. Mild fantasy violence is some of my favorite violence. Oh, it's 1,000% Disney Mario Kart.
Mm-hmm.
That's dope. Power ups.
Yeah. This looks like a lot of fun. I love Mario Kart, so it's just
No, absolutely. Thinking of the list of Disney characters, I immediately start racking my brain with who I would pick.
I'm 100% Donald Duck on this. Like,
I immediately thought Aladdin.
yeah.
Jack Sparrow. That's a cool addition. You didn't necessarily think Pirates of the Caribbean there.
Yeah. I'm all in on this. It's out now. So like I want to race with Donald Duck and shoot the beast with a missile and knock his car out,
I like the idea of everybody's got their own specials and power ups and stuff. That's cool as shit.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
there's enough cool characters in the Disney universe where you can have some fun with that.
Yeah. And it's Disney. So, there's also at some point going to be toys that come along with that, Will. And we're speaking of toys. I didn't forget about this last sponsor, that being Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve is the nation's largest marketer of adult products with millions of satisfied customers in the United States and all over the world. Founded in 1971, Adam and Eve is also one of the oldest names in the rapidly evolving adult industry. For more than 50 years, they have built up a reputation as a trusted and reliable adult toy store that takes pleasure and privacy seriously. When you want to shop erotic toys, Adam and Eve has it all. Men and women, straight or gay, and anywhere in between, Adam and Eve has the adult toys you're looking for, including but not limited to vibrators, dildos, anal sex toys, bondage toys, couples toys, lubes, sexy gifts, and accessories. Unlike other adult stores, Adam and Eve stands behind all their products and offers a no questions asked return policy. So whether you bought a dildo, sex swing, or penis ring, you can get a refund within 90 days if you're not 100% satisfied. So go to adamandeve.creationworld.com and use the code erotica to receive 50% off your order of one item of at least one item, plus free shipping on orders of $49 or more. That's adamandeve.creationworld.com and use the code erotica to receive 50% off and free shipping. Link is in the description.
Perfect.
But yeah, Disney Speedstorm, I'm in. I think it's awesome. I want to play it.
I'm here for it. I'll play the shit out of it. I
Yeah.
like pretty much anything Mario Kart, and then once again, just adding the Disney universe to it, having a chance to be Mike Wazowski. I think that'll be cool. He's gonna be that. He's gonna be the Speedstorms like Yoshi. Everybody like to be Yoshi. Everybody will want to be Mike because he'll be smaller and more aerodynamic.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Yoshi is my favorite in Mario Kart. In the newest Mario Kart, I'm Black Yoshi all the time.
I played Mario Kart. I always go with Link. And when I played Super Smash Brothers, I would go with Young Link until they took him out of the game.
They took Young Link out of the game?
They did. For a while. I haven't played the new ones on Switch yet, so I might be.
Okay, I'm about to
out of
say,
date
I
with that.
think the whole thing with the last Mario, with the last Smash Brothers, they put everybody in that bitch. Like
Okay.
anybody that's been in a game before is in it now.
Because Young
Oh.
Link was so OP'd that they took him out because there were moves and stuff that they were taking out of competition because you can one-shot knock out if you do them right.
They probably nerfed him then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that'll be it for today. Let's
It's an easy hour.
Yeah,
Love
let's
it.
close this out. Thank you all for watching. This has been an easy, fun hour. If you're not watching us live, though, you should watch us live. And the way you can do that is by going to twitch.tv/Creatia World. You go there. If you're there watching, give us a subscription, subscribe. If you have Amazon Prime, then you've got Prime Gaming, which means you can subscribe to us for free. Doesn't cost you a dime. And it helps us out a lot. If you don't give it to us, give it to somebody, though. Give it to Will. Give it to give it to your favorite Twitch stream. Doesn't matter who, just use it. But I would like it if you used it on us. That would be awesome. Also, you can watch us live on YouTube at youtube.com/Creatia World. A subscription on YouTube is free. So just go ahead and hit the subscribe button there. Also, while you're there, ring that notification bell. That way you know every time we drop a new episode of anything or anytime we go live. It's fun. Hang out with us. Have a good time. All right? Please. Thank you. Also, you can watch us later on YouTube. But also, if you want to watch us later, Matt's perfect, personal favorite place for you to watch us is on Pornhub at pornhub.com/model/Creatia World. You go there. You can check us out after you've, taken care of yourself or while you take care of yourself, before you take care of yourself, however you want to do it. But if you are taking care of yourself, just go to adamandeve.creationworld.com. Use our code to get 50% off and free shipping, though. Do that. We also have some, Pornhub exclusive stuff. And Pornhub took one of them down. We're working on getting that back up there for you, though, because
The watch-alongs are gold.
it's
They're
a
so
fun. Also, we got a good way to support us monetarily is with Patreon. That's what's going to help us out a lot more than anything else. Patreon.com/Creatia World. You go there, and for just $1, you actually get access to our extra stuff. Things like Return to Wrestling with myself and the Warden Matt Ritter. We're going through old WCW stuff. We're working our way through 1997 right now. We just finished Road Wild. We got Fall Brawl coming up soon, and all the nitros that led up to said pay-per-view. Also, Multiverse with myself and Mara the Shark Watkins. We're going to be doing Justice Society, World War II next. That's going to be a fun one. That'll be up later this week as well. And also, like Matt likes to mention, you don't just get that month's episode. You actually get the whole back catalog of all the stuff we've done before for $1. It's a good time. It's a good time. That way you can go back on Return to Wrestling and watch the episode with Bill on it,
That was a lot of fun. When we tried to call that dude after we found his phone number on the playthrough.
Yeah. I forgot we did that shit. Yeah. Also, if you just want to get to know us and everything we're all about, the place to do that is creationworld.com. You go there, you find out everything about us, all the links to everything we do. You want to know more about us personally, be basically a dating profile. What's my favorite ice cream? What's Matt's favorite drink? How many tattoos does Vince have? How many piercings does Mara have? All that good stuff. Go there, check all that out. Also on the socials, all of them, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, at It's Creatia World. That is at ITSCREATIA World. As always, I'm not telling you how to spell word. If you don't know how, get a goddamn dictionary, get your life together. Also on Facebook, facebook.com/Creatia World. But while you're on Facebook, check out our Facebook groups. One of them being facebook.com/group/Them Dragons, where we're talking all the Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon stuff there. And if you just got cool dragon pictures, just drop them in there too, because I fucking love dragons. But if you're a wrestling fan, you're going to want to go to facebook.com/group/Smacking the Raw. It is, I can honestly say this, the most non-toxic wrestling community on Facebook that I've seen. Like, as far as Facebook groups go, we had a little bit of toxicity try to creep in a couple years ago. We got that motherfucker out of there. Like, we don't allow that. We don't let that fester just for the sake of numbers. No. And it's not even just because they disagree with the person. It was just some, dude was being all kind of weird racist kind of shit or sex. I don't even remember exactly what he was doing, but whatever it was like, no, you got to go. Yeah, he had to go. Also, for Smacking the Raw, every Friday night live, midnight Eastern, 11 Central. Warden Matt Ritter, Vince Daddy Delgado, Katie Kinsey Bebe, occasional guests like the Will Gray here, the honorary use of Creatia World. Check it out. Also, you can find me on both Twitter and Instagram at Lord_Cussalott. That is at LORD_CUSSALOTT. Will, thank you so much. Where can they find you? Where can they find all your shit? Plug away. Here we go.
Travis, first and foremost, as always, I love you guys. Thank y'all for allowing me to be the honorary use of all things Creatia World. You can find me at botchbotsandchairshots.com or anywhere you do anything on the internet by that same name. If you want to watch us live, you can see us on Sundays at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time on twitch.tv/Rivet City Radio.
Dope.
I got it down.
Again.
Started narrowing it down to just the most important things.
I was definitely expecting more. But yeah, once again, thanks for being here, Will. And thank you all for watching. We'll see y'all next time. Till then, we out.
Peace.